welcome. And we are back with episode number 93 of the Swoop Shoes podcast. We got the whole crew here back. We got myself, Eric, aka 2026 Knicks basketball, Armani, aka the biggest hater. We got Ernest, aka the year 23.
You still hating no money?
And we got Josh, aka Why Do I Like
my name.
Basketball?
I forgot to change it.
So today's episode, we're going to recap the NBA Finals. And for the seventh straight year, a different NBA team is a different champion. The Oklahoma City Thunder holding up the Indiana Pacers in Game 7, winning 103-91 to win their first NBA title since moving to OKC in 2008. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander completes the triple fecta, or I can say that as Finals MVP, winning regular season MVP, scoring title, Western Conference Finals MVP. So basically, he swept the awards. And now they go into the offseason as champs. And with other teams going to reinforcement mode in offseason, as we had 4 major trades going down right before tomorrow's NBA draft, including the big Kevin Durant deal to the Houston Rockets. Also had the Memphis Grizzlies dealing Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic. And last night and earlier today, you had the Boston Celtics shedding salary, trying to get out of the second apron as they trade Drew Holiday last night to the Portland Trailblazers for Anthony Simons and the second-round pick. And earlier today, the Celtics, Hawks, and the Nets were involved in a 3-team deal in which the Celtics sent out Kristaps Porzingis to the Atlanta Hawks. Terrence Mann goes to the Brooklyn Nets, and they get the Hawks' 22nd pick. And the Boston Celtics, they received who did they receive in the trade?
Niang.
George's
and the second round pick.
And the second round pick.
Niang.
So which allowed the Celtics to shed close to $200 million in tax, which they needed to because they were in the second apron. So this allows them to get freed up, and they're also now below the second apron. And also, we got the NBA draft coming up tomorrow from Barclays, the first of 2 days, with, as you all know, Cooper Flag being the first overall pick, and with the Mavericks having the number 1 pick, and also re-signing Kyrie Irving to a 3-year, $119 million deal, which just happened not so long ago. So lots of things are happening right now. We're especially in off-season mode, but it's still the on-season because we still got news flying around the league, and then we're going to get more as we get closer and closer to draft, which is tomorrow and Thursday. So let's lock in and let's recap, and don't forget to subscribe, like our channel, subscribe, and tune in. So NBA Finals, Thunder Pacers, interesting series to say the least. Unfortunately, we had one of the main stars from the Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Haliburton, go down with a debilitating Achillies tear, and now he'll miss the rest of the 2025-2026 season coming up. The Pacers were right there; they had their chances to win it. But OKC, SGA, Jalen Williams came up big in the series, had that 40-point game in Game 5. Chet Holmgren, 8 blocks in Game 7.
8? I thought you had 5.
Let's go.
5 blocks in Game 7. Yeah, it was 5 blocks.
Cuomo conceded. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if y'all heard like me, like right before the countdown for the beginning of the show. I was like, "Oh, stat." What you call it? Had won. I forget his name.
Mandani.
Mandani. I'm like, "Oh shit, Mandani won."
Yes. Oh, New Yorkers, we we really know how to vote.
We got some color in the office. Okay. Peanut butter.
Let's go, man. It's fresh. This means one basketball team future's looking great.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
Really?
Anyway.
Ace Bailey, 8th pick, goes to the Nets. So getting back to finals recap, Thunder, best team in the league, 68 wins, become the third team to finish with 84 plus wins in the season. That means regular season and playoffs combined. And on top of that, for 2026, they're the odds-on favorite to repeat. So I don't know. I know that we had different champions in the last 7 years, but this might be the team to we might have to start looking at them as like a repeat champion, or maybe I don't want to say this word because it's been thrown around a lot, but dynasty. Do we see it?
I feel like we say that every year, man.
Yeah,
because we said that last year about the Boston Celtics. This is a dynasty happening.
The Nuggets too.
The Nuggets. we say this every single year. So until it happens, we just gonna watch basketball.
Yeah, here's the thing too. Like Adam Silver wants parity. It's clear as day. Now, don't get me wrong. OKC has made the requisite moves to uphold this so-called dynasty that could be something for them. But like Armani said, let's just wait and see because anything can happen. Let's wait until the season starts.
As we see, things happen in this playoffs where it shifted.
And especially with the second apron.
Right.
Well, I mean, they don't have to worry about that for now. But
yeah.
But again, with the pending, I'll say it that way, with the pending player movement that's happening now and possibly going to happen within the next 24 to 48 to 72 hours and thereon until the season starts, let's hold our horses because let's just say a particular star goes somewhere else and that it's just you never know. So OKC does have the assets and they have the window to become this said dynasty, but I would just wait and see.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to say this on OKC behalf. This is one of the best seasons from a team that we saw, especially a season from Shea, who's MVP, All NBA, and Finals MVP. And then the Western Conference MVP award,
scoring title, all that stuff.
Scoring title, like this is one of the best seasons from a player. He's 26.
20.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 26. So this is like I just wanted Shea has had one of the best seasons from a guard that we haven't seen since Steph. So
he'll be 20. He'll be 27 July 12th.
Because what they said, forwards and bigs been dominating the game.
Yeah, and even though this is another foreigner winning the MVP, Shea, we already know you're not no foreigner, man. You've been in our school system since you since you was a preteen, man. So
Shea Vontae?
Yeah, come on, your name is Shea Vontae, man. You know that's foreigner.
But the narrative they want to use is the international players are taking over the NBA. Slow it down.
Yeah. And those international players don't become good until they in American systems. So
right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Shea, this is one of the all-time great seasons from a guard, and you deserve for your story to be ended like this. It was one of the most entertaining finals that I've seen in probably the last, I want to say 5 years.
Wow.
Because let's be honest, last season we already knew what was happening. Once Boston had their way with Luka, it was just like, okay,
let's go the year before.
Yeah, and then the year before, who was the year before? The Nuggets,
Miami and Denver.
Nuggets and Denver.
We already
playing
knew
team.
the outcome of that. You know what I mean?
Let's
Like,
go before that.
there's nothing to say about that.
I would say
no. The
I'll say
Bucks and Suns one was okay.
Yeah, no. Bucks and so out of all of them that you obviously, you know, us being Laker fans, of course, obviously we love 2020, but Bucks and Suns, like I really loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it because Giannis was down 0-2. Giannis was down 0-2.
He won 4 straight.
Yeah. He won 4 straight.
Also, I think leading up to the finals matchup, like we can't forget that Clipper and Suns series was crazy. Like with
Game 2.
Pat Bev was Chris Paul.
Yeah, Pat Bev did that. DeAndre Ayton game-winning dunk. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And then Giannis in the finals had the game-winning block. Like, hey, listen, it was crazy.
Right,
it was crazy.
Exactly.
But also, let's not remiss what was supposed to happen that year.
Oh no, I don't want to talk about it.
Ernest,
It's done.
Why you do that?
It's okay.
Why you do that?
It's over. It's
Why
over.
It's
over, bro. That was the worst postseason I ever witnessed as a fan, bro. It's over, man.
You know, always got to bring it back to the one time.
Toe on the line, bro. Toe on the line.
But
I'm not even mad about that. It's Joe Harris, bum ass, missing every open 3.
Yeah.
KD was literally out there by himself. But no, go ahead, Josh.
But I was just saying, like, this was the most entertaining finals in a while. So I would say since 2021, because that was the Bucks and Suns one. But every game was fun. Every game, like literally, you felt the energy in the crowd. And Amani, they heard you. Adam Silver heard you when you was complaining about it don't feel like the finals, and then he tried to put that little fake AI trophy on the court.
That was bad, bro. That was so bad.
And then they knew it was bad because they took it off.
Yes, they took it off, and then they put the final script joint on the floor.
You want finals? We got finals at home.
So
then they did the introduction too, which was like you waited to game 6 to do that. Like, all right, like damn.
But it was a fun final, and it actually was an entertaining playoffs too.
It was. All in all, it was.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the series I actually enjoyed. The Knicks, Pistons to the Clippers. Who was it? Because Clippers Nuggets was a good series.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was a fun series for me.
Ant-Man, Superman, Batman, Lakers, and
Hey, you know what's great? Hold on. You know what's crazy? I ain't see that camera for the rest of the playoffs.
No, facts. You never seen that camera at all, bro.
They got a NASA drone shot of LeBron smacking Ant-Man on the wrist. And I didn't see that.
The foul.
They called it a foul.
Man,
I didn't see that camera angle for the rest of the playoffs.
We had to go super detectives to see if the Lakers was cheating or not, man.
That's crazy.
That's it, man. Y'all got Luka for free. What you complaining about?
Yeah, Armani, it's fine. We charge it to the game. It was we had to pay it back for getting Luka, but don't. It's okay.
No, not for Luka. That's for the Sacramento Kings series. Man. What you talking about?
Like Kobe said, oh. Kobe
said, oh. But I really enjoyed this playoffs. It was a great and I like that these two teams, and there's no shade to you, Eric, or any other Knicks fan, because the Knicks fans were jumping in the chat the other day because of what I said about the Knicks when I was trolling them. It's nothing to do with y'all, but I feel like the Pacers and OKC being in the finals sets a nice precedent for the NBA for teams to look to see what to do instead of going after big trades and of stars. Just try to build organically, and I think that's good for the league because it's a copycat league, and these teams have unique styles and built uniquely through drafts and through.
I would also say, not every team goes by that philosophy, right? Like there are some teams, Lakers, right, who historically they don't
that's
really
your identity.
build through the draft. Yeah, exactly. Like if that's not your identity, then like and that's to your point of a copycat league. Like, you don't have to like find your niche, whatever your niche is, and how you build your team to be successful.
Yeah.
Be great in that. Don't try to copy what OKC's, because like I feel like there are teams out there who are Utah Jazz who are trying to be like OKC, and they're doing a terrible job at it. I'm just
Why you blaming
Say, why you blaming me for?
It's just like what's the end goal here, you know? So, and
But,
on top of that, there are some owners who actively are not trying to win. They just it's just a tax write-off, and you know it's money that in their pockets they can play with. So.
But I'm glad that y'all brought that up because you know the NBA has shifted than what we know, and especially something that we've seen all throughout like the 2010s and everything. Big free agencies go to big markets and they team up, big threes and stuff like that. Like that era is over. Then in the beginning of the late 2010s, early 2020s, we started to see the duos, right? We had Kawhi and PG, Braun and AD, KD and Kyrie. It was the duos that got folded on real quick. Then we started to see like little glimpses of big threes and duos and stuff like that. Now, like some of that still exists, but it's really with the role players. The role players is the ones who's like really holding it down. And I say that because KCP, Alex Caruso, and Drew Holiday are the only three people to win 2 championships in this 5-year span. And that says a lot because the role players are really, really holding it down. You know, they've been traded to different teams to play a pivotal part in that team and help with the championship success. And that brings me to Alex Caruso, you know, who did a phenomenal job this playoff run. And it's really crazy that that's what it really took. That's really took to put the Thunder over the hump. Like last year, I know we talked about their length. Pause. We talked about like the height, right?
They got rid of Josh Giddey,
right? And you bring in Alex Caruso,
who was a liability on offense because he needs the ball, you know, to operate. To get,
he can't shoot,
and he's not a good shooter. So you have SGA who also needs the ball. So like he didn't. You're playing 4-on-5 on offense, so
right.
You know you get Caruso in that deal, and Caruso just added a total different dynamic from defensive standpoint to hustle to just everything. The intangibles is what really he's the glue guy.
So just the way Caruso looked out there, it low-key reminded me of Rondo in 2020, like playoff Rondo. How Rondo came in the game and just kind of like affected the whole game on both sides of the game. It was just like and from a like to be one of the older guys on the team, but he's also still kind of young. Like it's kind of crazy. But for him to already develop all that championship experience and put it for a team, it's their first time in the finals. Like they're the favorite. The fact that he was gonna put it on full display, like that was really phenomenal to me. Him and Hartenstein, like I said, that's really all it took for Oklahoma to put them over the edge and see what happens, right?
And even Chet struggled in this fight. He didn't shoot the ball well.
Yeah.
But defensively, he
was missing putback dunks and lobs and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
he was amazing on defense.
Right, and that's what stood out to me the most is that like OKC, and you can see in some stretches that their offense looked terrible. Like it just looked really bad. And I'm not going to say luck, but it was to their advantage that they played a team like Indiana, who they also go through their lows on offense and defense. They're not consistent, at times either. So when OKC had these scoring droughts and they looked terrible on offense, they were able to still be in the game. But whereas, like, I don't know, if the Celtics were fully healthy, I don't know if OKC gets to them with that type of offense. You know what I'm saying? So, but to OKC's credit, defensively, they were phenomenal. The role guys showed up. They took care of business. It was, their first appearance in the finals, going to a game 7, and really just riding that storm. And especially like after the first 5 minutes when Hallie went down, it kind of just deflated the energy on both sides, right?
It was heartbreaking.
And then
man.
at halftime, they were down, and they rallied in the second half and really put their foot on their neck. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to OKC. They are the rightful champions. There's no asterisk on that. Enough with that talk. I really dislike an asterisk.
People put an asterisk on it?
Bro,
Yeah,
you see what you see what I was talking about the other day?
Because Haliburton got hurt. They're like, did this ring really count? I'm like,
but even before Hallie's injury, right? They're still going to use it as a number 1 seed, a 68-win team versus the 4 seed Indiana Pacers, a team that a lot of people felt should not have belonged there in the first place.
Okay.
But
yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then they post the pictures of all the different players in the Western Conference. It was an Ant-Man injury. It was a Ja Morant injury.
Ant-Man injury. I know they're not using that.
Yeah, and I'm just like, at the end of the day, bro, injuries is just a part of the game, man. Like,
it's part of the game.
You got to play who's in front of you and try to beat who's in front of you. Come on, man.
Yeah, because if they would have lost to Indiana, it would have been a disaster. So, like, let's stop this.
I feel like when people say that, they be like, oh, what you want us to be like, all right, let's lose and then let's try next year when everybody's up. Nigga, what you mean?
Right.
And
that's the game about basketball, right? That's the thing about basketball. That you want to create an advantage any way you can. Any way you can. Whether it's a mismatch, whether it's a defensive mismatch, offensive mismatch, you're trying to create an advantage at the end of the day. So unfortunately, that you have X player get hurt on the other team, we gotta go. We got a game to win.
And Hallie knew the risk. He said it himself. He knew the risk of going out there. So
I don't blame him. I don't blame him for go out there and play. Like, bro, like if he's able to walk in his game 7, like
you never know.
You never know.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And they still had a chance to win. They still had a chance to win the game.
He came out. I don't want to say it because you know what's going on overseas and everything, but he was going out there. He was wilding. Hallie was wilding. Hallie was wilding.
But you know, it's very reminiscent of the KD thing. When KD came back against the Raptors,
they were down 3-1.
He hit 5. His first 5 shots were threes.
Three threes in a row.
In a row. And it was like, oh yeah, the Warriors they're about to run the table and then he made that one that's the same off-play
feeling
move.
Himself. He was feeling oh yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, he's like, I'm good. He's cooking Kawhi and then boom. This Hallie the same thing. He coming out, he cooking, and then boom, sudden movement. Like the adrenaline takes over, and then you push yourself further than what your body can take, and then that's how that Achilles pops.
It was just so heartbreaking, man, because I was at an event the day that happened. We all locked in watching it on our phones. And I'm like, haha, yeah, that's mad funny. I look at my screen, I see Hallie on the ground like this. I'm like, bro, what happened? I go on Twitter, everybody talking about no. Like we talk about in the chat, we like no. And I'm just like, yo, bro, like it can't happen this way. Like the finals, and even though everybody was talking a lot of shit in the beginning, this is gonna be the worst finals ever and stuff like that. Right? We said, yo, it's 2 young teams playing against each other with the stakes is high. It is what it is, right? What happened game 1? Hallie hit a game winner.
Yeah, exactly.
Hallie hit a game winner. Remember, we all said that. We all said Thunder was gonna wrap it up in 6. I think one of us said 5, but nobody had this ring on the game. No, nobody had it.
Yeah, you said sweep. I said 5.
Right.
That's how I'm gonna give him 1 game.
And the point that I'm trying to make, nobody had this going to a game 7. There was people on Twitter saying that, yo, a crazy ending to the watch Hallie hit a game winner at the end of the finals. People were saying that. Watch that happen because he did it all playoff series long.
That would have been magical.
That would have been, oh my god. So the fact that that happened in the opening minutes of the game, it literally took the air out the game. For me, it took. I'm pretty sure many others. I wasn't enthusiastic anymore. Like. I was, in Nemhard we trust, and Pascal Siakam we trust, but they can only do so much. You feel me? Miles Turner, get that brother out of here. Don't pay him no 30 mil, man.
Not for real. Prayers up for Hallie.
Well, the Turner thing is going to be interesting now because obviously
he had a bad finals. I don't care what anybody tells me.
Yeah, he had a terrible finals. Now he's a free agent, and then Haliburton's out. It's like, do you pay that money and you're going to be good, but you're not going to be like, without Haliburton, you know, he makes everything go. So
Miles Turner been on the pace since Tim Duncan was in the league, man.
Do they spin the block on an Aiden? You know, because they want it.
They could.
Yeah.
Good.
I think it's time for a change for Miles Turner.
I want to say this before we move on. I apologize. I wanna get close on camera. I talked a lot of shit about you. I apologize, J-Dub. He deserves an apology from me. I didn't have no hope in you in this playoffs.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Josh. You was really quiet in them games he was cooking, bro.
No, I was giving him his credit. Oh, because you wasn't in the chat because in case you.
Oh yeah. You put out a hate watch video and everybody hates you. Okay, because they team lost. Okay, whatever.
But I want to apologize to J-Dub. Listen, man, you proved me wrong. Scored 40 in the finals. You had a hell of a playoff run. Sorry, you deserve this, man. You deserve this. You stepped up when Shea needed you most. So I apologize.
And he got props from Scottie Pippen too. That's elite. That's pretty elite.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the finals are over and the NBA season has concluded, we are heading in fast tracking into the NBA draft. And immediately, as soon as the finals ended, trades galore just started. DMs couldn't wait.
Before.
Trades happened before. It was before Game 6.
There was a trade on Game 7. Katie got traded on Game 7.
But there was a trade in Game 6 and there was a trade on Game 7. So yes, GMs couldn't wait. They said F that. We're doing this now. First order of business. Real quick, how do you guys feel about Desmond Bane going to Orlando for 4 first-round picks and KCP and I believe Cole Anthony? You know, like obviously to me, I think given that the East is open, with Haliburton, Dame, and Tatum out next year, it's up for the taking, right? Teams like the Pistons, Knicks, obviously, who should be the favorite coming out the East, depending on how things shake out. But teams like the Pistons, the Knicks, now you have the Magic, and obviously the Cavs. But now you have the Magic who think that they have a window opportunity here. How do you guys feel about the Desmond Bane addition? Obviously, they were one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league. So adding a guy who shoots damn near 40% over 40% from three at a five shot attempt rate, which is value. So he's a pretty good shooter, damn good shooter from three. How do you guys feel about that? Because I personally believe that the Magic needed a point guard, and they still can kind of get that, but obviously they're probably going to lean on Suggs and Anthony Black as their guards for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I think that they needed a bucket getter from the guard position, even though we seen what Franz and Paolo was doing, but just the Magic was just such a mess last year due to injury, and like we had high hopes for them, but yeah, I do like the trade for the Magic. Like you said, they get Desmond Bane, who can shoot the three really well. But I do agree that they do need a point guard. They also got to work out like that center position with Wendell. But I also believe that they got fleeced. Like they gave up so much. They gave up so much just for Desmond Bane. So like, when that trade went live, everybody was like, yo, like you see how many picks they're giving up for this? Imagine what a guy like KD or Giannis, how many picks that would mean for those type of players. So like the market is like low-key all out of the place. But I mean, with the East kind of wide open, and we just spoke about advantages. This is an advantage right there. Go for it. Go for it.
So I think they needed more punch on offense, and they got it with Bane. I still think they need more shooting. We'll see what happens, in the coming days or coming weeks. As Amani said, like it's an arms race because the East is wide open. Now with the Celtics and Pacers down with injury and trades, the East is really wide open for the taking. So if I think if you're one of the teams like the Pistons, I think they should make a move. Cleveland, they were in talks with getting Kevin Durant, trading away Darius Garland. So they were trying to make a heavy splash. We'll see
That's
what
why
the Knicks
Katie was
do.
like, hell no.
Yeah, Katie not going to Cleveland. Like,
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna be in LeBron's shadow. Oh hell no. Hell no, bro. That's the worst place for him to go.
Oof. The Knicks, see what they do. They need to upgrade in the bench, and who the next coach is. The Hawks. With the trade they made earlier today. Can they make a move in the standings? So it's wide open. It's like it's been wide open. Like I could say for the first time in years, maybe I could see it's wide open because last year we knew it was Cavaliers and Celtics were the two best teams going in.
I don't think we said Cavaliers going in. Cavaliers surprised us.
Well, actually, the Celtics.
There was only one team.
It was only Celtics.
It was the Celtics.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but during the season it was Cavaliers Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
But now going to 2026, I think the East is going to be up and down in flux. And hey, you never know. You're going to have to take your shot. So, yeah. So if you're the Magic, if you're the Pistons, if you're the Hawks, if this team can get the act right, I don't know. Maybe the Chicago Bulls. I don't know. I say if. I say if. Okay.
And if is a fifth, we all be drunk.
I will say this about Orlando. John, I don't think the Magic have any cap space. But I don't think they're a second apron team either right now because Paolo, he's on his rookie deal. So I don't think I have like any cap space. But I'll say for Orlando, yes, they did slightly overpay for Bane, but I like the trade for them. If they truly believe Paolo and Franz are making those leaps next year, and that they have the faith in them making those leaps next year, Bane is the best acquisition next to them because I know people wanted them. Everybody was mocking them to get Simons. Simons because he's a point guard, he could shoot. But Bane is one of those guards that you could bring in and your defense doesn't fall off with him. Bane is actually a good defender too, unlike Simons. So that's why I like that trade.
We've seen him when Ja was out for an extended amount of time and carried that team along with Jared Jackson.
He's a good rebounder for his position too. Like he's a very good all around player. So I don't, even though like when you really think about it, 4 first round picks, cool, but like I don't think it was crazy overpay as I initially thought when I first saw it. I was like, 4, it's crazy. But then when you really think about it, you know. So I like it for Orlando, especially due to the circumstances that Eric and Armani stated earlier, that the East is wide open. You see the Celtics and the Pacers, unfortunately, have their best players leave this postseason with torn Achilles. So you got to go after it. So that's why I like the trade for them a lot. So hopefully now it's just on Paolo and Franz. Because I like their depth too. They still got Jonathan Isaac. They got that 3 big rotation in Wagner, Wendell Carter, and Goga. Anthony Black, you got to hope that he makes another leap, that he's a constant rotational player for them. And Suggs,
they still got the other Wagner brother.
Yeah.
Well, they, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they didn't pick up his team option.
Oh, okay.
So
that's a little worrisome because he was good. But they have to hope Suggs and Isaac. Well, I'm not gonna say Isaac because for the last 2 years, Isaac has been playing 60 games. So Suggs, they gotta hope Suggs is healthy. and I think that team is going to be solid.
Yeah.
Going into the next trade,
I feel like
Memphis. Yeah, we didn't talk about Memphis. Memphis
they got
is in
so
a
much
peculiar situation because clearly they get off the Bain book, but obviously now this opens up conversation for the extension for Jaren Jackson Jr. Then you got the John Morant thing. I like to go by action. I don't like to go by what people say. Actions speak much louder. The actions of the Memphis Grizzlies say that it looks like they're rebuilding. The words are that they're not. So we'll see what happens. Adding a veteran like KCP, if you really look at the veterans that came through there, they really didn't stick around. Marcus Smart was out of there. You know what I'm saying? And there was a lot of talk about how the facility was like that. Desmond Bain said there were no windows in the practice.
No windows. That's wild. That's wild.
So
imagine you practicing in the gym and you try to get some fresh air and you can't.
So it's interesting to see where they go from here.
What's going on in Memphis?
I don't think they will be a good team next season, but who knows? But moving on, a bigger trade happened literally right before Game 7, and that was Kevin Wayne Durant
during Fanatics Fest.
Yes, during Fanatics Fest. Yeah, John, I agree. I would trade Ja as well. So, so Kevin Durant gets traded to the Houston Rockets for Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, and the 10th pick, if I'm not mistaken, correct? And 5
seconds.
Yeah. So I love the move for Houston. Houston still has a myriad of assets they can still go use and go out and get.
Still got all the Phoenix picks, man.
They got all Phoenix's picks.
Got their picks.
Yeah, they got their own picks as well. So, and they have a really good young pool of talent that they still can offload that teams will be interested in. Guys like Jabari Smith Jr., guys like Tari Eason, guys like Reece Shepherd, Cam Whitmore. Those are guys that can make some impact on rosters in the league. So the Rockets are in a very, very good spot. I think KD is in a very, very good spot. The situation he got himself in, and he's surrounded by guys who will defend. He will be the first option on that team. I love it for Houston, and then for Phoenix, I don't know how Beal, Booker, and Jalen Green is going to work together. But yeah,
I think with KD, I'm low key concerned. So even obviously he is the number one option on the team, but I'm just concerned based off his health. When he's out, who's getting those buckets? Who like we already see Houston struggle in the playoffs to get a bucket. You know what I mean? Like Jalen Green was shooting horrible from the field, saying ghoul. He was doing damage down there in the paint, but I'm talking about from the perimeter. We already seen with Amen Thompson, you know what I mean? We all said that he got to work on his perimeter game, his jump shooting game. But when KD is not there, as we've seen, Josh always like to poke fun, always some weird injury in the month of January where KD hurts his leg and he's out for an extended period of time, right? Who's gonna be that bucket getter? And so that's one thing that I'm a bit concerned about, right? The second thing, we all know, this is what we all say about KD, right? No family, just straight buckets, right? Straight buckets, right? So he only care about hooping, just hooping. That's it, right? KD is not a vocal leader, right? Not on Braun level or like Kobe, what we've seen in the past, right? So he's surrounded by a bunch of young guys. They have a veteran head coach in Ime, but now it's where's the leadership? You see what I'm saying?
I got a rebuttal for that. So maybe that's exactly what they need. Someone who just cares about basketball. And I believe the person who's going to benefit the most by KD being on the roster is Jabari Smith Jr. Same type of prototype, can defend, he can shoot that 3 ball. I think he gets to learn and feed off of KD's presence, so to speak. Like he can be in lockstep with KD and training, developing, all that stuff. And I think by KD's dedication to the game itself, that is the leadership part. That's gonna. I feel like it's gonna exude to the rest of the guys. The leader is Ime Udoka. Like he's the voice, right? Like so, KD doesn't need to be the guy in the locker room that's gonna be like, "Yo, guys, need to do this." Ime Udoka commands that locker room. What KD is gonna be able to show is the dedication to the craft, and I think guys like Jabari Smith, Tari Eason, especially Amen Thompson, like they're gonna see that greatness up close and personal.
And don't they still got Jeff Green too?
They got Jeff Green, also
Adams,
Steven Adams. There's Steven Adams as well, and then don't forget their sister coach and Royal Ivy, who played with KD in college. So
and guys, Fred VanVleet, champion.
Yeah, Fred VanVleet, champion. I think they're fine. Like I don't think the youth is that bad. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I'm not saying that Jalen Green was immature, but I do think his focus wasn't solely on just basketball.
Yeah, like come on, you see what's going on with
yeah.
Shit, what?
So I do. So my rebuttal to your concern is that I think they'll be just fine, and I think they got a taste of what it's like being they were the number 2 seed in the West last year, and they went to a Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors, and I believe they're looking at it as if Jalen Green didn't shoot under 30% from the field, they probably win the series. So I know. Look at me wrong. Losing Dillon Brooks is still big to me because I think
what I'm saying. Yeah,
I think Dillon
culture
Brooks.
Setter.
Yes, exactly. He is a culture setter.
Right.
So I think losing him because the same way Memphis lost him and they went off a cliff and and it was funny. They blamed everything on him and when he left, they got worse. So
the dynasty starts after you.
And it never begun.
But
Draymond is crazy. Yeah.
That's what we're starting to see now. Like, especially with the Magic trade, and especially with the Celtics trade, which we're going to talk about later. A lot of teams is like that are like very defensive oriented. You got to give that up to get some scoring back. So that's what we see with the Houston trade giving up Dillon Brooks. I'm like, damn, like I don't care about Dillon Brooks, but I just know what he did for that team. You still got Amen Thompson, but Dillon Brooks gave you like that extra grit, So now to get KD, a consistent bucket getter, right? Somebody who is very efficient, who won't get 11 points a game. You know what I mean? Like it's a balance to this, Yeah. But since we talk about Jalen Green, we talk about the Suns. I just feel like I don't know what's going on in Phoenix. Just the whole Jalen Green, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker makeup. It low-key reminds me of Isaiah Thomas, Dragic, and Bledsoe. You got 3 dudes playing the same position with just no route, bro. Like that's the way I'm seeing it right now.
Also, did I hear that the trade's not finalized yet?
Yeah, it's not finalized until July 6th because now it is illegal because it's illegal because Phoenix is taking on Dillon Brooks and taking on Jalen Green. They're taking back more money. They're taking back more salary than that was sent out. So it's illegal, which I believe the trade will be expanded upon. Other teams may get involved. They may reroute Jalen Green somewhere. They may throw Bradley Beal in that trade and move him somewhere. So the trade could be expanded upon for sure.
I'm not gonna lie, man. The Suns are doing a horrible job, and It's nothing worse than trading for having 3 shooting guards on the roster
That's what
that need the ball.
Yeah, bro.
It's nothing worse than that. And then you don't have a point guard. Your starting center is Nick Richards, who is your power forward with so many holes. It's just like, I don't know what's going on over there. You know, I don't know.
Their starting power forward may be Derek Queen. So, you know, I was told that they're looking to draft
another person that needs the ball in their hand.
Yeah.
You see, so that's my problem. I don't know if y'all heard, like, the Suns are hired. Their owner, he's from Michigan State. He's hiring a whole bunch of people from Michigan State, and it seems like they don't know what they're doing. And it's
friends hiring friends.
It's kind of concerning. Like, this is like the new ownership nightmare that every fan has. Like,
well, except for one, I don't have it.
No, I'm talking about like when you hear about new owner until you hear me out here. I'm talking about the new owners. Like, when you hear, oh, I know a new owner, and you look him up, and you be like, oh, I don't know. This is what you think before you find out. Oh, I'm good. I'm in good hands.
Yeah.
This is the Suns. Yo, John, they can't start over. Can they start over?
They can't.
You can't start over until you can trade Beal.
Right.
You can't do any of that.
The real reset for them is actually
trading.
Yes. The real reset is actually trading Booker because they can get actual assets back for him.
Yeah.
And at that point,
and that's the whole thing about this that confuses me, because it's like, where is his say in all these moves that are happening? You know what I mean?
He loves Phoenix, bro.
He loves Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah.
He loves Phoenix.
Drafted there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, he don't like winning. And
listen,
not every owner's trying to win.
He like his low riders. You feel me? He like his crib in Arizona. Some players like that. I'm gonna just put up the stats some more. Some players like that, man. You can't, you know. So I just want to know what's going on in Phoenix. The ownership is horrible. The front office, I don't know if they are acting with their hands tied behind their backs. I don't know, but it's bad. And then the whole KD situation was weird enough because you try to secretly trade him at the deadline.
Yeah.
And then he found out.
Crazy.
So that's what made his return even worse than it was.
mm-hmm.
So it's just like, y'all doing stuff that's against the book. You know what I mean? Like, Kyrie had beef with the Nets, but the Nets didn't try to do no slimy stuff like that. They actually didn't like each other, and they didn't even try to do that to each other. And you try to do that to KD is kind of crazy. You know what I mean? So they have a lot to figure out with that 10th pick, and in free agency, because they can only sign minimum deals. And then once the season starts, we got to see how that look. That might be the worst defense
nasty.
in the league.
Oh yeah. No question.
Just think about. I see Devin Booker and Jalen Green and Bradley Beal on the perimeter, and then I get to the hole. It's Nick Richards.
But then on top of that, you also have Dylan Brooks. Like, where does he fit in this equation?
But he's the only defender. He's gonna try, but this is like, it's impossible. That's impossible mission for him.
Yeah.
So I'm so confused about the Suns on that one. Bad trade. That's an F for the Suns.
Yeah, for sure. We have another trade. Obviously, we could call this trade a mid-off. The Pelicans trading CJ McCollum and Kelly Olynyk and a future second-round pick to the Washington Wizards for Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole's out of hell.
And a 40th pick. So Jordan Poole and Zion Williamson.
Wow.
What do you guys think about that pairing?
He's leaving one hell to another.
He just go one floor up, like he go one floor up to hell up.
Listen, man. The trade, it makes sense for the Wizards Next year, they will have $110 million freed up in expiring contracts from CJ to Chris Middleton, Marcus Smart, and I think Brogdon.
Malcolm Brogdon, yeah.
Malcolm Brogdon.
So I get the trade for them, but then it's like you can't bench that much guys next year, guys. Like it's kind of like ooh, y'all might be flirting with the plane a little bit. Like there's a lot of vets there. So, but for the New Orleans side, I'm kind of confused. Like I said, I can't complain. When I told y'all pre-meeting, I can't really complain. I could complain about Sean Marks, but it's like I would be so confused if my GM was making moves like this.
And on top of that, they got a new president of basketball operations in Joe Dumars.
Oh, I forgot about. Oh, so these moves make sense.
Yep.
This makes sense for the Jordan Poole is interesting because DeJounte Murray, he tore his ACL, right?
Achilles.
He tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
He tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
He's not even going to play next year.
Exactly.
Well, like he tore early in the season, so depending on where they let's just say for the sake of argument, the Pelicans are top 6 seeds. He'll possibly play. Let's just put it like that, and that means a no because they're not going to be a top 6 seed. So
it's Poole, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, and Zion if he's healthy. In the West, I don't know. It's like
ain't cutting in the West. No,
that's like a C.
No. Just say no.
It's like you said, it's a middle. If it's a C and a C for both teams, like
they said CJ McCollum to hell.
They said, yo,
he deserves all that.
He deserves all that.
I saw on Twitter they was like, nah, they sent CJ to DC with all the corrupt politicians. Like he deserves.
That's very funny. Yo.
And then
well, shout out. I do like that they got Sadiq Bey in that the Pelicans. That was a nice little sneak.
Yeah. You know,
They
again,
just love wings over there.
That's what they have a lot of wings and guards over there. I don't know what's going on there.
Man, the food out there is great, man. Especially chicken wings.
Next, obviously, we have the Celtics, who made 2 trades today.
They didn't waste no time either.
Yeah, they didn't waste no time shedding over 180 million in salary. So they are now out of the second apron, which haunted them. But they traded. So Boston, Atlanta, and Brooklyn had a three-team deal, finalizing, sending Kristaps Porzingis and a second-round pick to the Hawks, Terrence Mann and Atlanta's 22nd first-round pick to the Nets, and George Niang and a second-rounder to the Celtics. It does. George Niang does help shore up the bench a little bit for Boston. I mean, but what did Draymond say about George Niang? This is like your 15 or something like that. And so, I obviously I get why Boston's doing it. I think Boston's treating this as a gap year, with Tatum being out and sitting on that much salary, and you're probably not going to be a championship contender. Doesn't make any sense.
What's going to happen with Jaylen Brown?
Well, we'll see with that. Porzingis obviously, didn't have a great conference semis against the New York Knicks. He was sick, wasn't healthy, and no one knew what was wrong, which is weird. I don't know.
Twitter knew.
You can't tell me. You can't tell me an entity of an NBA franchise making buku money that has the top doctors don't know what's going on.
Twitter knew.
Somebody know.
Twitter knew.
Chill. We're not going there.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Please, don't do it.
Don't you're wow. No Magic Johnson's over here. So the crazy thing is, nah, they said the man had AIDS. That's crazy.
The man has long COVID.
Crazy accusation,
It's not funny. It's just to Ernest's point.
That's a crazy accusation.
You have a team who's what is it, $6.3 billion or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And you have the best doctors in the world, best doctors, best trainers in the world, and you don't know why this man is not playing games. And then you got on a social media app, you got a bunch of Joe Schmo sitting behind a computer diagnosing him. Like, what are you talking about,
yeah. That was crazy.
Doing math and calculating, bro.
Getting back to the trade, I do like this move for Atlanta. Adding Kristaps Porzingis, shoring up, because I think what it's not being mentioned is the defensive potential for Atlanta next year is going to be pretty solid. Zachary Risachet, who's pretty good rookie defender last year. I think he's going to get better. Dyson Daniels, a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, led the league in steals, 4 steals a game. And then you add Kristaps Porzingis that could defend on the back line. And you got Jalen Johnson, who got hurt, and he was something special to watch. So, I think they're starting 5 with Porzingis at the 5. No, actually, because you still got Okongwu. Okongwu. You still have Okongwu.
And so you had Clint Capella. They're gonna have to move him.
No, he's done. He's. I can pretty much guarantee Clint Capella would not be in Atlanta next season. But you have those. You have Okongwu, and then you have Kristaps, possibly your 4, the starting 4, and Risachet or Jalen Johnson, and then your 2 is your 2 is Dyson Daniels, and then your 1 is Trae Young. So you put I get the logic because you're putting a lot of these long wing defenders around Trae Young, and then he can get busy, and they're going to be a fun team to watch for sure. They're going to be a fun team to watch, and I think again, what the Magic is doing is, hey, there's an opportunity for us to climb into the top 6 of the East and make some noise. So I personally think the Pacers gave a lot of I guess hope. Hey, if the Pacers can do this, we could possibly get to the finals too. So I do think the Atlanta Hawks look good in this regard.
And the Hawks, not saying they trendsetters in that regard, but the Hawks had that magic run before they made it to the ECF.
They did. Mm-hmm.
So it's why can't we do it again with Trae Young? We already know Trae Young could do it. Yeah. Now we just gotta rebuild this team around him and get the pieces right this time. So
I agree.
I do like that for him.
Obviously, Josh, your Nets, they get a pick.
Just for taking on Terrence Mann contract, we get another first round pick. Just our 5th one.
Just the 5th one, but not the top 5, which sucks. But I do think they can package that to move up, or we'll see what they do with those picks. So the Nets have they're doing what the Jazz aren't doing. They're doing it the correct way. So
another straight.
This is how you follow OKC. This is how you follow Sam Presti.
Exactly.
Then what do you say about people?
Yeah. Obviously, Boston. Like I said, getting George Niang in that deal. Yeah, but the flip side to that is they also get Anthony Simons by trading Jrue Holiday, and Anthony Simons
defense for offense.
They got a pick. They got a pick for taking him on, which is crazy to me, which I don't even understand. How do you get a pick for getting off of Jrue Holiday? That don't make no sense to me.
Good GMs. There's a lot of And how about this? Let's add on to that. Isn't it funny? It's ironic that Simons and Dane got traded for the same guy.
Yeah, the same guy.
Right.
I will be fuming right now.
Portland is just a rest stop for him at this point, bro.
Facts. So it's obviously Boston. I listen. You pair Simons with Jaylen Brown and Derek White, and you see what happens with it. You know, and it may be prolific.
Contract year for him too.
But yes, it's a contract year, and it's a perfect scenario because it's a big stage. It's Boston is a big market. He can really do some damage there, and he's in the East. He doesn't have to play in the West.
Bro, just so I was a little concerned about just the depth, you know, them giving up Drew and Porzingis. Obviously, understand the reasons, but I'm just thinking about the roster right now, right, of guys who can go. You got Jaylen Brown, you got Derek White, you got Peyton Pritchard, and then you got Simons. And I'm just like, bro, what?
Don't forget Sam Hauser.
Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett. You know what I mean? He was going crazy in that game against the Knicks. So it's just like they're, you know, even though Ernest, I know you said that it might be a gap year, like they still got pieces that low-key still kind of compete with, even though we say in the East maybe open, they could be a disruptor.
Oh, I think they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'll be a top 6 seed, maybe playing like that.
Let's be real. If they're touching the play-in, they get a number 1 pick because we already know what NBA it is. Adam Silver League, he gives it to playing teams. That's what he go. I'm letting y'all know right now. What day is it? June 24th. This is before this year's draft. Next year, lottery.
So AJ DeBenz will be
Yo.
I promise you, they're gonna get the number 1 pick.
I can't take that
because that's what Adam Silver loves.
No,
that's what Adam Silver loves.
Nope, I ain't gonna accept that.
Look,
first it was
y'all
Atlanta,
watching this.
Then it was Dallas. Now it's gonna be the Celtics. I'm telling you,
y'all watching this. If this happens, just please come back to this video.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
I already see it.
But
I want to see it, man.
I want to put it past them because again,
here's the other thing that everybody, you know, a trade that everybody just glanced over. Hallie, you know, was dealing with this calf injury, right? And the Pacers during like game 2 of the finals.
Yeah, they traded number 23 pick.
They traded their pick this year to get the rights of their pick next year.
Next year, yeah.
What did Brian Hurst?
Yeah.
So which means
I think
so.
Yeah.
So according to your logic, if the Pacers do end up in the play-in, hey, you lost in the finals. Here you go.
Coincidence? I think not. That's all I'm saying. How do you have that? And then he tears his Achilles. There's a lot of devil magic going on.
Literally 5 days later, he tore his Achilles.
See that boy Siakam? The Undertaker?
No, the Thundertaker.
The Thundertaker. The Thundertaker. That's what they was called.
The Thundertaker is what they call him.
That was a little scary, you know. Like, hey man,
he dunked on Indiana. He took takedowns. Yo,
yeah, it looked like he got electrocuted under the rim. He was on me like, yo, bro, what's happening, bro?
Yo, that was crazy. Hallie with the no look. You know they said Hallie when he be throwing those back.
Bro, I don't know, man. There's a lot more trades to happen.
Man.
I'll tell you offline. I'll tell you offline. So yeah, like, it's crazy, Josh, that you said that because I got text message, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe stay up tonight. But yeah, listen, the draft is here. Before we sign off, obviously Cooper Flag is the consensus number 1 pick. We know that. My wild question is, just give me some predictions. What do you think is going to be one of the wildest things that'll happen throughout the draft? Whether it could be a trade.
I think the Sixers trade out.
Out of the top 3?
I think the Sixers, yes. I think they trade
out
of the
top
top 3.
With who? Please don't say the Nets.
I don't know.
Gonna own Sean Marks, bro. I don't want to do that again.
I was thinking that.
No.
I was thinking
Because
that.
we traded James Harden to him, and he ain't getting Maxey
You
back.
know
I'm
what?
good. Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to do another deal with him.
I mean, but you can leave it as that. That's a bold prediction.
Yeah.
What do you think? Or Josh, whoever, doesn't matter.
The Hornets are going to draft Conker Nipple.
But funny story about the Hornets. I don't know if y'all heard, but they're actually having trouble getting workouts for like rookies.
Nobody wants to play with.
Yeah, so
LaMelo
wants to play there. And they might take a fly on LaMelo. They might take
that's why. That's why I'm saying
his
they're going to
pops.
draft Conker Nipple.
His pops has been campaigning for him to go to the Clippers. So.
Yeah, it's impossible. There's nothing the Clippers could give up for him.
They ain't having it. They ain't
They
having
don't
They
have
don't
no
picks.
They don't have picks on it yet.
But that's why I think Conker Nipple is getting drafted by them. He's in their neighborhood, North Carolina.
Yeah.
He's going to be the only player out of those top players. Like, I don't care about playing here, man. He got nothing to lose by playing next to LaMelo. Every other player, there's like, I'm getting my shots taken from LaMelo, Brandon Miller, and Miles Bridges. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
So they go pick Conker Nipple and shock everybody. Even though they should pick Malawatch, which would be smart.
Yeah, facts.
I think too.
Yeah.
I think Philly sends out PG. They give up on that experiment real quick.
Oh,
in this East? In this East?
What?
Philly has
why?
Okay, like I get the concern with Philly, but if they are healthy in the East, like seriously, like no BS.
That's 50 wins. That's 50 wins easily.
Easily, they're top 3, maybe top 2 seed in the East.
Because if Embiid, if he plays at least 50-something games, they are winning 50 games. Like he's a walking 50 games. I could say all you want about Embiid not making a ECF. You could say all that, but in the regular season, he has them winning 50 games. I could say that confidently.
But that's the thing, right? Like I see what you're saying about like making that. Like it's obviously it's not sure, right, for any of these teams that that they'll make it, right? But you want to have the security next to Embiid, next to Maxey, and you just looked at the season you just had. You got Jared McCain pulling back up, right? You need that for sure. Like, yo, and I don't know, just like the way PG's been looking, like the decline is. Woo.
The decline is bad. It's bad.
That's my only concern with PG. And the other thing, this is wild. This is something I've been hoping for since like for the past 2 seasons. I just need Pelicans to give up on Zion, man. Get him out there, have him spread his wings, do something else, man. That's just a wild guess for me. But
I think they're gonna wait a year. This will be the first year that he wouldn't have a co-star. I mean, I'm not calling Jordan Poole a star. So Brandon Ingram's a star, not an all-star. He's a star. So like this is
when he was with New Orleans, when he was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm saying this is the first time that Zion's going to be playing on a team where he's like the only star.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
They want to see what this experiment is. I think they're going to give it a year and then chalk it up.
I think a whole year now. Trade his ass at the deadline or something, bro. But
my crazy predictions, since we're going to go crazy, Lakers are going to trade Austin Reeves during the draft. I think that might
we lose the playmaker. We lose the playmaker. He made the play.
I'm trolling. Crazy. Okay. I do think the Sixers may move out of the top 3, but not at the expense of moving Paul George. I think they keep that team. I just think that third pick is very valuable to a lot of teams around the league, and Daryl Morey sees when he sees an opportunity like that, he's going to try to fleece as much as possible. That's what he does. I think Ace Bailey becomes a net. That's just my personal opinion.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Wait, I don't think Josh, do you want him? You want that?
I have my reservations about him, but he cool.
So
I
so
wasn't.
do
You
you
know
want?
how I was
So
before about him.
all right.
Right.
So Josh, quick question: Ace Bailey or Jeremiah Fears?
Well, those are both not options I'm happy about, but I'll take Ace. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
Because
you would take Ace has the highest ceiling over Peterson.
yeah.
my thing with the reason why I feel that way about Ace and Jeremiah, they're very inefficient and well, Ace, I should say, can't dribble, and that concerns me a lot for what he think he is and what he is right now. I'm not confident in that. But
You know what's going to be crazy though? If he gets drafted by the Nets, that first practice against Cam Thomas, it's a wake up call. It's going to be a wake up call for him.
Yeah, welcome to the league moment.
Cam Thomas
bust your
is
ass?
a walking bucket. Like that is
What was your welcome to the league moment? Who bust your ass?
I would just hope that Jordy would teach him how to tighten up on certain basketball skills. I'm not saying I don't think that low of Ace Bailey, but I just don't think of where I think of Dylan Harper and Cooper Flag. I thought he was in that class with them, but and Fairs is just he's a 6'3" guard that can't play defense. Like that doesn't work in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's the Andrew Russell.
Yeah, he's fun to watch, but he can't shoot. He shoots 26% from three.
Yeah,
so it's like I don't know how to feel about that. You know,
and he's not like uber athletic. Like he has some athleticism, but it's not like like Russell Westbrook type of. Like if you're that small, you got to be able to
So
to attack the rim.
He's D'Angelo Russell versus
no. He's not D'Lo because he could get to the hole.
If that's the case, I'll go after Trey Johnson.
Yeah,
I'll go after Trey Johnson.
Trey Johnson is the best shooter in the draft.
Yeah. He's the best shooter in the draft.
That's my concern about Jeremiah Fears. And I will honestly not be mad if we don't get either of them and we get Noah Senge. Give me that guy he's Amani. He's 6'11". He looked like that Greek guy. Yeah.
A compo?
Yeah.
Run a dunk man?
Yeah.
But I think also I think also the Nets have an opportunity because again, if Ace, which I think Ace is going to land one or two spots, either the Nets or the Wizards
or Washington. Yeah.
If he lands with the Wizards, I think there'll be an opportunity. If the OKC doesn't trade up, I think the Nets are going to draft Malaku.
I was thinking of something, but I was thinking of something.
Don't even scare me with this OKC trade up thing. I don't even want to think
about 106 trade picks, yo. They get a top 3 pick, yo.
Yeah, nah, that can't happen. I need Adam Silver to veto that trade, bro.
Yo, if that, I'm telling you right now.
Honestly, it's the Clippers' fault. It's really the Clippers' fault. Really think about it.
They literally just everything.
Oh yeah, not just them.
The Heat too.
Yeah, the Heat. Yeah.
And then they have the Nuggets future too.
Yeah, facts.
And what we talked about earlier. What we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I know.
Having another future, this is gonna look like gold if that happens.
Yeah. Also, one of the mock drafts I'm looking at, they have Igor going to Atlanta, which I think is.
Okay.
I think that's a great spot for him.
Yeah, he needs to be with another ball handler because he's not a full-time guy.
Yeah. So we'll see. Buckle up. It is going to be a crazy NBA draft night. I'm literally getting a text from somebody right now that says I said it's going to be a crazy 24 to 72 hours. This person said very much so. I've never seen this much activity in a very, very long time. I would not be surprised if big stars are moved And I would not be surprised if certain teams with certain stars get stars to team up with them. So.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, boy.
Sabonis gonna get traded to the Bulls, man. yo.
So what's crazy? What's crazy is Sabonis and DeMar DeRozan, I think, are definitely on the move, some way, somehow. Again, take that for what you will. It may or may not happen, but yeah, it's a lot of activity this go around, and
watch AD go to the Celtics.
It's who?
They almost did that.
I said, watch AD go to the Celtics.
No, that's not happening. You crazy. You crazy. I mean, he may have a gripe.
Yeah.
He may have an issue, but you crazy. Nah, bro.
I think Ernest and Armani would really be like, now we're gonna be two behind them.
I'll be salty as hell.
Yo, because think about it. The next year, Tatum, AD, bro, what? Come on, bro. It's all right, though. Y'all got Luka. And
Luka,
50-year-old LeBron.
Jokic,
Yeah, all right.
Jokic,
That's the show, y'all.
Nah,
that's the show.
But all in all, guys, again, tune into the draft. Get to know these rookies. It's super important just for the future of the league. And just be in tune, man. And also, let's not be remiss. There is still basketball being played. Let's not act like basketball is completely over. The WNBA is live and full in effect. Right now, the Fever are playing the Seattle Storm. And yeah, you still got, I think, the best player in the league, Nafisa Kali. The second best player in the league, in Asia Wilson. And then the third best player in the league, Caitlin Clark. So it's some good basketball.
And you got the best team in the league, the Liberty.
No, they're not.
It's not anymore. But
it's the link.
Not anymore.
It's the link.
Don't worry. We know.
Okay.
We know what's gonna happen.
Armani, remember this, and everyone in the chat, hear me good. Remember 2009. 2009, after we got our asses whipped in 2008, just like the Lynx did. This is their 2009 year. Just letting you know right now.
Y'all didn't cry like babies. Y'all didn't cry like babies.
This is the Spurs 2014.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Not even close.
They was out for blood. They was out for blood.
Minnesota,
it was out for blood. They was throwing seven passes before they shot the ball.
Didn't the Lynx just walk in Barclays and whip y'all? Not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yo, bro.
They did.
What does that have to do with anything?
That's a lot. It's a lot. Bro.
And guess what? The Knicks were like 0-10 against top 3 seeds. And what happened in the playoffs? They was in the ECF. What that mean?
Achilles.
Anyway,
good night, everybody. Good night. End the show.
Yo.
Actually, this
you don't give y'all no credit, bro.
He brought up the bell.
This what happened, okay?
Oh my God. Well, guys, thank you everyone for tuning in. And again, there's going to be some action. So stay tuned and love yourselves, love the people around you, and watch some damn basketball. Peace and love.
And watch the draft.
Did you say peace and love?